everybody, welcome back to Is It Kino, your favorite movie review and shitty Disney remake review podcast, even though I think this is the only one I've ever sat all the way through. I am Simian Jimmy, and joining me is the Stitch to my Lilo, it's Hartsy Protsy.
Hello, I am so happy to be here reviewing this wonderful film of lesser quality, the original, of course, being the lesser quality one.
Yeah, finally they got it right. Thank goodness. Can you give us your Stitch impression, Hartsy?
I think I actually just talking it.
Damn, that's pretty good. You nailed it. First try. And we're also joined by, what was the name of the evil alien in this film? Jumbly?
Yeah,
Jumbo? It's Aggie.
Yes, how are you doing? You know, I'm trying to get my original voice that this one was missing, but...
Is that Gru? You sound like Gru. And you did invent the minion of Stitch. It's all coming together, I guess.
That's right, Minion 626.
Yeah, it's the new Lilo and Stitch, and it is true. I've never actually finished watching a live-action Disney remake. I think we watched 10 minutes of Snow White. I watched 5 minutes of a cam rip of the Mufasa, which I guess is not a remake, but, you know, pretty much. And then this one, we were gonna go see it in theaters, but then I saw the cam rip pop up late last night, and I said, fuck that, let's get a refund. No theatrical, not giving Disney 1 penny for this slop, now that I can watch it for free at home. That's right. Thank goodness, because, man, I zoned out in the last 30 minutes when they butchered all my favorite characters and ruined them, and I just didn't want to watch it anymore.
I've seen one Disney remake before, and it was a Jungle Book remake, and I actually remember not hating that one. I don't know where they went so wrong with this.
Did the Jungle Book remake butcher the songs?
I don't know. I don't think so. It's been a really long time since I watched it, but I think they cut out a lot of the songs. Like, they focused way more on the on just the animals doing their shit.
Well, you know what? This one kept the Elvis music, which I was hopeful for. I thought they would cut that out because they're going to say, oh, he's too late, problematic. But thankfully, they kept it in, even though it's a movie about a little girl. And they kept in the Hawaiian roller coaster ride song. Great song from the original. I don't know if that's a Lilo and Stitch original or not. But Aggie, what about you? Are you as down or as high spirits as me and Hartsy, who loved the movie?
Well, I gotta say this. You know, as I was first watching it, I was a little bit upset because my good friend Jabba Juba, I really love his, Fleek, or whatever his name is, you know, I even watched the whole TV show, so I know my Lilo and Stitch, but names, you know, I'm not so good with. Anyways, I thought that, you know, his energy was kind of all there, but just a little bit of that accent missing was just, it took me out of it a little bit, but I did find out this morning that the original voice actor is dead, and that has, you know, to do with why he did not reprise the role. So
I don't need a reprisal. I need Zach Galifianakis to put in even a modicum of effort. This was the most pathetic. He literal phoned in performance. He was probably doing it over the phone on his cell phone, just doing his normal voice, reading the script. He didn't even know they were recording it for the movie. He just thought he was doing a reading to know if he could pronounce the words, and they fucking put it in the film. He's doing his normal voice. Why?
Yeah, it's, you know, the whole thing with the movie is that it's supposed to be like a real gripping, and there was something about the charm of the original voice actor, who was the guy from MASH, like one of the doctors, which reading about him made me want to go on a MASH binge. But anyway,
a MASH shooting of everybody who made this movie.
It's like the lines are written for him to have a little bit of this charm, and the delivery is just not having it. Even besides the accent, he's just like, oh, 626, yeah, like we're on my spaceship or something, dude, but yeah, whatever, man, it's cool, you know, I'm like, I'm chill, I'm like meta-ironic detached or something, you know, it's all cool, whatever, yeah, Lisa Low, yeah, she's like, yeah, whatever, dude, but we're gonna, like, fix you up, dude, yeah, you know, versus like, oh, my creation, you know, oh, you have such potential, 60, and just like, any give, yeah, it just...
And then he becomes generic villain. Like, they've removed the actual badass alien general guy, and they turn, Jumbo? They turn Jumbo into the main villain, and he just becomes a big asshole, and then they kill him. They drown his ass. I don't appreciate any of these changes.
Now, actually wanted to go into this movie with a unique perspective. Since you've both seen the original, I opted not to rewatch the original to watch this. So I get the so you get the opinion of a new viewer. Maybe this movie's okay if you're a new viewer. No, it's really not.
Why not?
No. Because the only thing gripping about this movie was the noose I put myself in while watching it. It's awful. It is awful. The performances is the worst I've seen in a Disney movie. And I hate being mean to children actors, because of course...
Well, you're gonna shit on Lilo?
Yes! She is the worst part of the movie! They picked the worst child actor of all time.
I'd say the worst part of the movie is the writing for the older sister, Nani. But you know, to play an annoying 7-year-old kid, if it comes across as annoying, maybe that means she's a good actress.
It didn't come across as annoying. It come across as stilted. There is no emotion in her performance as the child.
I didn't get that. You thought she was a robot, Aggie?
Yes.
Oh no, I thought she did particularly well. I mean, I haven't watched the original Lilo and Stitch in years, I don't think, but there's a lot of emotion conveyed, not just in the voice acting for Lilo in the original movie, but the way that she's animated. I would think that would be difficult for a live-action child actor to replicate, and even from the opening sequence where Lilo, she's running late, she's feeding the fish the sandwich, and she's late for a dance class and everything like that. I thought that the child actor I looked her up, she was born in 2016, so, that makes me feel old. I thought she was hitting those cues much better than I would have anticipated.
Yeah, and of the things that they added, I don't like any of the changes, but they did add some things that express the characters in fun ways. Like now Lilo is sneaking into a local tourist resort to use the hot tub and stuff. I don't think there's anything like that in the cartoon version. So at least they added something that was fun and not shit that exclusively pissed me off. But go ahead, Hartsy.
I didn't get any of that from any of the acting in this movie. It was all extremely stilted and boring and awful, and I did not like a single bit of it.
I think I could show you much worse child performances that would make you appreciate Lilo here, but maybe not. I'll say this, Lilo and Stitch, all-time great cinematic duo. I have it up there with Doc and Marty, because I love Lilo and I love Stitch. They're both rebel-rousing little shitheads. And that's exactly what I was. I was Stitch when I was 7 years old watching this movie. I have a cousin with a child named Chucky who behaves like Stitch. So the scenes in this movie where Stitch is completely destroying the house and pulling open the fridge and just going nuts. So realistic to having a child, who maybe a toddler, 3 or 4 year old, who behaves like a wild animal in that way. And so I appreciate Stitch as a child and as an adult for different reasons. And I think Lilo is an all-time character as well. I like her rebellious nature. She does not fit in, and she just does whatever she wants to. And she makes friends with weird, creepy aliens, and she thinks that they're cute. And I think it translated well to the live action for both of those characters.
Yeah, I could speak to the special effects. I think it was a good call. They essentially just even at the very beginning, I didn't even catch the 3D at first, in the opening when they're in the spaceship, Jumbo, or he's about to stand trial for creating Stitch. The what am I trying to say here? It's so true to the original in the art direction before the 3D is incorporated, and I really appreciate that they didn't try to go with some sort of whacked out, a la original Sonic, reimagining, because I think that would have made it a total disaster. But I think that if there's anything I could say about this film negatively, is that as it recaptures so much of the original and in such an accurate way, it's just sort of as I'm watching it, oh, that was good. I could go for watching that part in the original because that's what I'm used to. That's what I probably would prefer if I had to pick one or the other. And so in being so accurate, that kind of just throughout the picture was stirring that up in me a little bit.
Yeah, even the very best scene here is not as good as the animated version. And one example that pops out to me, I remembered this in the back of my head for the last, 20 some odd years. I love the back and forth dialogue of, "Go to your room! I'm already in my room!" and slams the door. They do that in this, but the pacing is way off. It's like they're trying to TikTokify it and make it as quick as possible, and it did not have the same comedic impact.
See, while I was watching this movie, an idea struck me, right? Kids these days are not growing up with original movies. Like, an original Disney movie is dime a dozen. It's all fucking remakes and sequels and stupid shit. How many kids do you think there are today that will prefer live-action remakes over the original? Like, if you show a kid both the original and the live-action remake and ask them to pick one movie to watch, how many are going to pick the live-action remake?
Well, at what age do kids convince themselves that cartoons are for babies and that, oof, I'm a mature 10-year-old now. I can only watch adult movies. I need to watch the live-action Lilo and Stitch to prove I'm not a baby. Is that the idea, maybe?
Yeah, see, I never went to that phase of...
I don't think I did either.
Yeah.
I did probably about 11 or 12.
I think there was 1 week where I thought I was too cool for Pokemon, but then I just went right back to it. Hartsy, are you too cool for anything right now, Hartsy, that you're gonna go back on, mid-20s?
Yeah, I've been reading this like gay little series called One Piece recently. It's
pretty
kind
gay.
of cool, but yeah, I think I'm growing out of it already, so I think I'm just gonna
Thank goodness. Well, if you're past the time skip, it's a good time to grow out of it. You can come back and binge it later.
Right. But no, I think it is sad that kids do not grow up with original movies these days, all just flop remakes. So sad.
They can go see the Barbie movie. They've never made one of those before.
Oh, of course, yeah.
What about the Oppenheimer movie? That's a brand new take.
Oh yeah, kids would love that.
Yeah.
I sure
It's like
would.
when you catch a kid smoking and you make him smoke a whole pack of cigarettes till he gets sick, you're like, "Oh, you like mature movies now? Here's Oppenheimer," and then they'll be like screaming for cartoons.
Dad
again.
finds a kid watching an R-rated movie and makes him watch Oppenheimer like 20 times, like when Hank Hill made Bobby smoke all those cigarettes. Yeah. Is Oppenheimer really a punishment though? Because it is kind of a TikTok movie as well. It's just a montage.
I guess.
They need a
First I thought
slow,
about
boring
Barbie.
movie.
Yeah, I mean, well, Oppenheimer was what, 2.5 hours? I guess that's where my mind was going, like a serious time drama of length versus a cartoon. But
So, do we need to? Have we answered Hartsy's question yet, though? About who is this for? Maybe.
So I do have extended family members who have like little kids, right? And if I'm like hanging out at my extended family's homes, they are watching stuff like their live action remakes and sequels to
Really?
movies that were good. Yes. And I do feel like these kids would rather watch remakes, the live action remakes, than the original.
I wonder why they don't like cartoons anymore.
I don't know. It's odd. It's really odd.
Because a lot of the people in this movie were objectively ugly. And,
Right.
they brought back the voice actress from Nani, who's now playing the social worker. And it's like, this bitch is too old and her bone structure looks like a Halloween mask. Can we not have her on screen? She was better as a voice actress.
And like a lot of these designs don't work really well in a live action setting. Like Jumbo and the skinny green guy.
I think his name's Jumba. I'm going to, and make sure that we don't keep saying that and people get pissed. It's Jumba, Pleakley, Cobra Bubbles. They kind of ruined him.
See, I'm not a big fan of these cartoon to CGI movies. Like, I would never sit down and watch like a movie about a blue CGI creature in the real world, like ever. So yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Oh, I get it. It's ironic because Hartsy's a big fan of the Avatar movies.
Of course. I'm glad you caught that.
Aggie, why you're not laughing?
Well, I was thinking to myself, because I had a sort of an inclination perhaps towards like who this film was for. Obviously, we love films that are very representational these days. And the original animated film might not have been completely employing real Hawaiians in the mixture. So I was just consulting the Wikipedia article real quick here, and it doesn't explicitly say that. It does say that Nani's actress was heavily criticized for looking too white or having too light of a skin tone for a Hawaiian, even though she's a half Asian, half European woman. And I guess the guy who played, who's his name, David, at first, the original actor, was found to be using racial slurs on social media, so he got recast with the guy who ended up being in the role. But
David?
Other than that,
Who's David?
The surfer guy with the tattoo.
That dude was racist.
The first person cast in the role was Hahio Machado, who was then found to be using racial slurs on Spotify and Instagram.
How do you use racial slurs on Spotify? You make songs where you're singing slurs?
Can you retweet HH on Spotify?
Let's see. There's I wonder if it's got anything I could quickly grasp here from the article. Probably not.
And the other controversy you said was people are complaining about the color of this bitch's skin. Like, you might be the authentic thing, but not the shade I want. Do we really want to platform these colorist, prejudiced freaks?
Sydney Agudong is a mixed-race woman who was born and raised in Hawaii, where the franchise is set, to a Caucasian mother and Filipino father. She received
many such cases.
Comments attacking her for accepting the role with accusations of colorism and whitewashing.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just going to pretend anybody posting that stuff is just an AI bot intended to piss off normal people with, like, normal brains. So, if they're real people, they should be killed, but let's just pretend that they're AI bots and fuck them and ignore them. Hopefully they'll just die.
We do have, the original actor, he shared a Spotify playlist which contained the N-word, so that's what his racial controversy was. Yeah, I'm thinking they just didn't want him in the movie. I don't think they would have cared.
Yeah, he's probably bad.
You can't listen to any music that has the N-word in it if you're not of a certain racial.
Which one? Which race do you have to be to hear the N-word music, Hartsy? Don't beat around the bush here. Just tell us the truth.
I don't know much about races. I just know that I get in trouble for saying certain words.
You do? Has this happened before? Do you have a tale from school?
Oh yeah, school, family gatherings, everywhere.
What was did you ever say a bad word at school that the teacher got mad at you?
Oh, plenty of times, yeah.
Really? What were you saying?
Well, I wouldn't actually say slurs. That was a bit. But
so what was the worst, though?
I was a foul-mouthed kid. I would say pretty much anything you can think of that's not a racial slur.
Like what? Like fuck? You'd say, fuck this shit, teach. I ain't doing your homework. My name's Hartsy.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But I wouldn't aim it at the teachers. I would be talking to my friends and I'd drop an expletive. I've grown out of that, of course. I was just I thought it was cool to swear as a kid,
Swearing is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I scream fuck at the top of my lungs in traffic all the time. I roll the windows down and I just scream and nobody can do anything about it because then I drive away.
Right. Hey. No, but I was a terrible kid. Very much.
And you've grown into a terrible adult. I don't know if it's gotten much better. Can we go back to how much I hate Zach Galifianakis for doing a non-performance in this role, and then the character becomes ironically a cartoon villain. They made it live action and made the characters more cartoony. He was so much better when he's just like a proud scientist who wants to check out his kick-ass creation. He's just like a proud dad. And now he's like fucking this mustache twirling evil villain wants to kill Lilo. Fuck off. When Lilo was in his spaceship pushing all the buttons, I just had to stop watching. I was plugged into my phone at that point. So I didn't even pick up on that evidently at the end of the movie, Nani gives Lilo custody to the state Is that what happened? Like she moves into like a halfway house or something?
I think she gets convinced, like, hey, yeah, you know what? I mean, after the house like blows up, whatever, they're like, yeah, you know, you are incompetent. You're not capable. We have to do this. This is for her. I can't. I feel like does that not happen in the first movie? Like,
no, the new family is just Lilo, Nani, and Stitch. They're not living with no old lady or nothing. I don't believe. And I want to talk about how they ruined Nani's character. Okay, Lilo and Stitch cartoon version. Lilo's down and sad, needs a friend. Her older sister takes her to the pound to get a dog. Wow, what a loving, good sister. What a great way to introduce Stitch into the movie. What do they do in this one? They see Stitch's rocket ship crashing down. Lilo thinks it's a falling star and says, Nani, leave the room. I need to make a wish on this star. Nani is listening in at the door and hears her little sister saying out loud for some reason in her wish prayer, oh, please, I need a friend. I'm so lonely, I'm going to commit Hawaiian suicide. Please, please, falling star, can you please be a spaceship alien dog, please? What does Nani, the sister, do after hearing this? Nothing. Does she take Lilo to the dog shelter? No. When Lilo comes home with the dog, Nani is pissed. What the fuck? How could you give my little sister who's begging God for a friend a dog? Ah! Absolutely fucking terrible. Whoever made this choice to change and ruin the character and make it just... I want people to be killed. Do you understand? I want them to be hung in the streets. I want it to be televised. The revolution will be televised.
I mean, that's a pretty justifiable reaction to any time someone butchers a movie you like.
Why would you make a loving older sister who takes her to get a dog into, why would you give her a dog? I hate this. Fuck you. Terrible. Brain dead fucking retardation terrible. Did AI write the movie? Probably.
I'm coming in here devil's advocate, I have to say, all right. See, in the original 2002 film, it's like, all right, back then, you're on Hawaii, you're surfing or whatever, that pays the bills. That I can believe. Now it's 2025, all right? A loaf of bread costs like $50, especially in Hawaii. I mean, if you're already showing these signs of financial stress, sometimes you can be like, hey, Lilo, I know this is a movie for children that's supposed to be heartwarming. Hey, reality check, bitch. Okay, you know what? This orange Cheeto, he's crashing the economy. Can't be affording no alien dogs. In fact, if there's anything alien that might be getting deported, we're all going to El Salvador now. So,
but how?
I mean, you can't just be over here just all rainbows and sunshine. Oh, well, you know, she's trying to be this leading role in the household. She might have to make these tough calls.
But I think as a screenwriter, you're either a sociopath or completely brain dead, or we have 12 different screenwriters writing different scenes and they don't know what the other people are writing. Because to juxtapose spying on her sister, praying and begging for a friend with a scene of her being pissed that she has a friend makes absolutely no fucking sense. Why would you put this scene in the movie if that's how it's gonna play out? Just don't have her spy at the door. You're making this character seem insane.
Well, I mean, she's suffering from grief. She might not be firing on all cylinders. I mean, I'm not saying that I was pleased necessarily, but when I think about it, maybe I could infer some reasoning behind it.
So you're saying that they wrote it this way because the character is actually very deep and complex? That's the best we can come up with? That the writers are actually smart and good?
I think if there's one thing they can do, if we're going from the G-rated animation, and if we want to pepper in some changes, I think maybe using these live-action actors and actresses to convey some depth that wasn't there originally. And I wouldn't say that this is necessarily running theme throughout the film, but if it's an idea that could be on the table, something out of the repertoire to add a difference, some textural and philosophical components that wouldn't be there originally. So I'm probably just completely full of shit and it was probably just stupid writing, but just a thought. Like I said, devil's advocate.
I think their logic was we need to give Nani a better arc and we want this dramatic scene where we're going to do one brief second of setup that says she trained at holding weights while running underwater. so that later on when Stitch is drowning, we'll have this dramatic scene where Nani realizes, oh, even though I hated this dog and didn't want it, classic fucking dad arc. Dad, can we get a dog? No. And then the dad loves the dog the most. They're doing that with a fucking 19-year-old girl in this movie. Oh, I don't want that dog. Oh, now I'm going to go back and save it and do my epic underwater run. Stupid. Don't give a dad's arc to a fucking 19-year-old when the arc in the movie was just fine.
Yeah, I love when a remake is just uglier than the original, has worse characters than the original, has worse pacing than the original. It's just bravo.
And did Stitch not dress up like Elvis in this movie? Did I miss that? Because that's an iconic moment.
I do not recall him dressing up as Elvis.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that.
That's too bad. So, yet another big mistake to justify the public gallows that I have advocated for.
So what movie do you think they're going to butcher next? What movie has Disney not touched yet?
Well, I don't think it's a Disney movie, but I assume How to Train Your Dragon is going to be dog shit.
Oh yeah, that's going to be awful. That's DreamWorks.
Yeah. Now they're just copying Disney.
Right,
I thought DreamWorks was started by Spielberg. What is he doing now? Did he sell that shit off? This doesn't seem like him.
I doubt he has anything to do with the company anymore.
Yeah.
Probably doing his own shit.
Did Spielberg directly work on Shrek himself? Could that be why it's so kino?
Mayhaps. I don't know much about the Shrek production history. But DreamWorks was always a step above Disney, in my opinion. They always they had a less extensive catalog, but when they did release something, it was always peak kino. And now we're going down the Disney route of just slop.
And they're all gonna probably make $1 billion. This movie I think it made like 1.5 times its budget in this opening weekend, and now they're saying
Jesus
they're developing
Christ.
a sequel. Which,
What?
hey, we don't like remake slop, and we don't usually like sequel slop, but if the sequel's a unique story, maybe I'll appreciate it more if it's half decent.
CGI remake of the direct-to-DVD Lilo and Stitch sequel.
I've not seen Lilo and Stitch 2. Stitch has a glitch. Maybe they can adapt that fine film.
Mayhaps.
Well, I did find it interesting. I'm sure, to be honest, this could be a good opportunity for them, because if this film, I'm kind of feeling like it is falling short of the original. The direct-to-DVD Lilo and Stitch sequel from 2003 that they would be incorporating elements into a sequel with, I think I saw it having a critical rating of 20%. So maybe if that movie was really terrible, and they can kind of maintain this momentum of this film in and of itself without the comparisons, I would say it's, good 6.5 maybe for me, maybe even a 7 if I, take off a little bit of the rose-tinted goggles. So if they could parlay this kind of momentum into doing a sequel with something that was universally panned and make it, another above average result, I think that could speak well to their capabilities.
They're making a live-action Moana next. That movie is already only 7 years old. That's already a new fucking classic Disney movie. And they're already remaking it live-action with the same cast.
Well, they had to do it before The Rock got too old, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. That just pisses me off.
Who did they cast as Moana?
I assume the same.
The singer? The voice actress?
I assume.
What is this bitch, like 40?
No, it's not. It's not her. There's no way.
Yeah, I would
Maybe
hope
it's
not.
Lilo.
Yeah, it could be Lilo. Was Moana only 6 in the movie? Moana was born in 2016.
This girl's about to be 9, so that's probably old enough for Moana. I don't know I've never seen Moana, so I don't know how old she's supposed to be.
Man, so the chick who played Lilo was 4 years old when COVID began. So from 4 to 7, she was masked up, trapped at home, can't go to fucking preschool, no kindergarten. I guess we'll throw her into the movie business. Gotta socialize somehow.
That's right.
I mean, my COVID experience is great. Just 3 years of staying inside, doing nothing but video games and watching YouTube. Great times.
Yeah, I'm worried about the young generations who missed out on actual critical years of social development and spent that time on TikTok and YouTube Shorts instead.
I think the brain development is mirroring the average serial killer, I'm pretty sure. So, like, complete sociopathy and, like, no impulse control whatsoever.
And that's why the movie theaters are dying, because these people can't be away from their phones long enough to watch a movie. It is what it is.
Only when it's CGI remake slot. That's the only time people show up.
Studio
Go
is
ahead.
Be brave enough to create the first entirely TikTok movie and become a trillionaire.
Well, we kind of came up with our Minions Dance Party movie that's a TikToking opportunity for the audience. So that's kind of, we kind of beat him to the punch.
That's true, yeah.
But you're saying that the movie should be a TikTok? Because I think you could just watch a TikTok.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, who's going to be that genius who figures out how to capitalize on the reduced attention span and dopamine-maxed children of today? I think there's definitely an opportunity there.
I think his name's Mr. Beast.
I was going to say YouTubers and, like, AI-generated animation farms that are, like, pumping out 1 million nursery rhyme cartoons a day out of, like, 3D Blender models. But I'm saying opportunities there if you want to, get rich.
Is there anything else we should talk about from this fine film that we all loved?
As soon as we're done recording, I'm going to rewatch the original, which I haven't in a very long time. I specifically did not watch it, so I can go in this with a clean mind, and it's still disappointed. So hopefully the original is 20 times better.
I think it's probably my favorite Disney cartoon. Like, it's up there with Emperor's New Groove, maybe.
I've never seen that one either.
It's very funny, and I like them better than something like The Lion King, and I haven't even seen any of the old princess bullshit, so yeah, Lilo and Stitch, best Disney animated film of all time. You heard it here.
I think I should mention also that allegedly this film referenced not only just the original animated picture, but just in the credits of it, allegedly it also referenced all 3 Stitch sequels and all 3 Lilo and Stitch television series. I caught multiple references to the original animated film. I watched the TV show when I was a kid. I have younger siblings, so I watched some of it. Nothing that I can recall that really stuck out too much in this film for me as far as that goes, however. But yeah, I would say, as far as I could feel about the film, a downgrade, as far as I'm concerned, remake of the animated original, but it's a perfectly enjoyable film by itself. It's just not quite as good.
I think it's a disservice.
If they want to runs out of their own original films to remake, they probably.
What's that, Hartsy?
I was gonna say once Disney runs out of their of their original movies to remake, we're probably gonna dip into Pixar after that, and then everything else fails.
Live action Toy Story with Tom Hanks dressed up as Woody. That'd be pretty good. I'm down for that. But I was gonna say I think it's a disservice if we're trying to hold up the legacy of the Stitch franchise to leave out the original Lilo, S. Darko herself. Donnie's little sister from Donnie Darko was the voice of Lilo, and I don't think she was offered anything in this movie. Because she's too white. They say, white girl playing a Hawaiian, gotta go. We're going to pretend you never existed.
Oh my god, I did not know that. Wow.
Well, we were talking about it last night, about how she hasn't had any credits since 2016, and on social media she hadn't posted anything since 2017. When I looked it up, the most recent comments on her social media are referencing the MTV Movie Awards. I think it was 2003 or something like that. She was the girl in the ring who climbs out of the TV and all that stuff, as Darko was. So she got to host an award at the MTV Movie Awards that year. And P. Diddy comes up to her with a glass of champagne, and she's 12 years old, and standing there hey, now you gonna make sure to come to this after party tonight, with the Didster. And she's like, yeah, sure. And he I guess he like put the champagne like in her face or something. So all these comments, the most recent ones on her final social media post from 2017 was like, "Oh, come forward, tell us about the Diddy party that night. We need to know. We need more evidence. He's going to prison for
So they
life."
think that she actually showed up like this 12-year-old girl's parents would take her to the party? Like, how is she getting there?
These
parents all need to be, like, when we're doing the public hangings, the parents of all of Diddy's victims who allowed their 12-year-old to go to these parties, they're joining the Lilo and Stitch writers, side by side, equally guilty in the eyes of the law.
Making a bad movie is as bad as letting your child getting exploited.
Yeah, because you're birthing something tragic into the world, and it makes me sad.
Of course.
Rape victims and bad movies. Equally tragic. They affect my life on an equal amount.
So true.
Yep. So they did not invite S. Darko because she's in rehab from a Diddy party. Although she seemed okay in the S. Darko movie. And that was many years later.
I didn't see that picture she had in 2016. I think whatever it was not a terrible film, but I haven't seen it personally though, and I don't remember what it was. I just know I glanced at it quickly.
Well, they better get her for the Lilo and Stitch sequel, because she's probably a cash register at some grocery store right now.
Oh, you don't think the S. Darko money is still rolling in?
I mean, does she get paid every time someone jerks off to stills from the movie? Because otherwise, I don't know if she's making much.
I'm sure she gets Lilo and Stitch residuals, right?
She didn't sing a song, did she?
Or The Ring, for that matter. Those are two very, very prestigious roles as far as the history of.
How does that shit work? You're in a movie in like 1998, so every single person who worked on it gets like pennies in the mail for the rest of their life?
Yep. Well, as long as you're in the Screen Actors Guild, I believe.
Oh, you have to be an actor.
Well, there's people out there. There's like posts on social media where people are like, "Oh yeah, I played the waiter for like 5 seconds in this movie, and so I get like $1 a month or something for the rest of my life."
Damn, how does a studio ever make money? If like even 20 years later, if I sell this DVD, a percentage goes to the fucking actor? Fuck off.
Because the studio gets 70% of it, and then
whatever happened to paying somebody one time? Like, Eggy, if I hire you to be in a movie and I give you your $10 and your fucking Jimmy John's gift card, you better not come sniffing around in 5 years asking for $1.
It's all about
got
the
paid.
Contract. I have signed multiple contracts for, where I would get a larger upfront payment because I knew that anything that's starring me is probably not going to be profitable. So yeah. I just get all my money up front instead of waiting 40 years to get the same amount.
You don't want to get the Pepe the Frog movie residuals? I'm sure he's getting big money off that.
I think I probably got like $2,000 for all things considered, and I think that was probably more than I deserved for it, so perfectly fine by me.
Probably more than if you just got the 8 cents a year in the mail.
And I got to meet fucking Steve Brule, pardon my not remembering his name. I got to meet him at his vaudeville.
If he's in character as Steve Brule, he is Steve Brule.
That's true, but he was performing vaudeville, so I don't know. He was probably closer to. I'm having brain farts today. I'm gonna need some more caffeine before One Piece.
His name's Taquito.
That's right.
Hartsy,
any final thoughts or anything you want to plug?
I would like to plug my YouTube channel, Hartsy for Hartsy, and there's only one final thought I have. I wish kids these days could grow up with original content. Like, I am very sad seeing the state of modern kids/family entertainment. I had it so good when I was just a little boy, a little lad. You guys had it better when you were little lads. It's so sad.
I think every single day there are more movies available to watch for free than any previous day. So each new day is actually the best anybody's ever had it. But these kids are so stupid, they don't want to watch old stuff. They only want to watch the new remakes.
It's a sad state of things. Sad state.
How about the cast of Feels Good Man includes Alex Jones and Elliot Rodger, but I don't see Iggy on there.
I think it was, I think my IMDb credited it to like Toby Reynolds or something, but hey, no, whatever. Obviously, everybody knows that's my real legal name, so I'll take it.
I don't remember Samantha Bee being in the movie.
I think she calls, she's on like TBS and says, "Hey, isn't Donald Trump a Nazi?" for like 3 seconds, and then that's her being in the movie.
Oh, wow.
Was Elliot Rodger in the movie? I don't think so. Was he?
They probably talked about him.
It's archival footage because yeah, there's a couple other like celebrities that are listed as like archival footage, so it's pretty funny.
Any final thoughts, Aggie, before we chug some caffeine and do One Piece Volume 41, available on the Mumkey D. Jones YouTube channel?
Yeah, I think if you had fond memories of the original picture, I don't think you're going to dislike this film, but it's not as good. If you got a young child or whatever, you got a babysit or something, or if you actually somehow have reproduced or have a niece or a nephew, perfectly good to take them out to for sure. But if you have the option, I would say go for that original. You just can't beat it.
Yeah, I would say under no circumstances should anybody watch this movie for any reason, because the original exists. Just go watch that. I feel that way about all these remakes. I regret watching this and giving it a platform on my channel and talking about it for 40 minutes. It's just a product. It's not a piece of art. It only exists to make them $1 billion because they know people will go see a remake if they recognize the name and they have nostalgia for a cartoon from when they were kids. That's all it is. It's nostalgia bait, money grubbing, certain parentheses to words I cannot say. And, I have deep regrets today. And I thought we were going to maybe do the How to Train Your Dragon movie, but I think I'm spent. I think I'll never watch a cartoon live-action remake again, unless they do a Minions movie.
I think that is the right way to go about it, because I can almost guarantee that they will never be as good as whatever they're trying to remake. That's the bottom line.
It mostly just made me mad. Hartsy, I'll leave it with you.
That's all she wrote, folks.